Good morning and welcome to the podcast. My guest today is Bob Britton. He's the superintendent of the Bucyrus City Schools. Welcome back, Bob.
Good morning, Dave. Thank you for having me on here again today. I appreciate it.
All right, I always appreciate you having on, especially as being proudly a Bucyrus graduate back in 1972. Not 1872.
No,
Some people
19,
might think it was
yes.
18, but it was 1972. Anyhow, I know the school year, we're halfway through. I think it was January 11th or so that kind of ended, wasn't it?
That's correct. Yep. It's amazing how quickly it goes. And we're already well into the second semester, and
Wow.
things are moving along very well. Things going well for the kids and the staff. And of course, you're in this whole winter weather stretch that we have
Yeah.
going on right now. So
Well,
it's always a crapshoot at this time of year.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, because people always say, well, I don't understand why they close or they don't do it. Safety is number one priority, correct, Bob?
Oh, absolutely. If we feel as a district that we're jeopardizing the safety of our students to get them to school, then that's the first consideration we take. If we can get the kids here safely, we run bus routes, and most of the kids, and a lot of the kids walk within a half to quarter of a mile from the buildings, and we feel that they can get here safely, we're going to go to school. It becomes a situation where if the streets haven't been worked on and it's icy out, or the wind chill, we've had some wind chill temperatures get down in there. If it gets down to minus 10, minus 15, you really want to take into consideration the kids that are walking to school or standing outside at the bus stops.
Yes.
Because it doesn't take long for skin to freeze, get frostbite,
Yes.
and you don't want that to happen, because as soon as that does, then it becomes a point of contention with not only that family and that student, but with the community as a whole. Is what are you doing? Make sure your kids are safe first and foremost above anything else. It's a little different here for me. I come from a district, rural districts in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We had 126 square miles of district, 128 or 142, I think, in another district, and you could have varying degrees of weather from one end of the district to the other.
Yeah.
So it's really different to be here in the city where you only have 6 square miles. But we're kind of at the mercy of Mother Nature like everyone else. And when you start getting some ice and cold weather, there's not a whole lot you can do other than make sure your kids are safe.
And I do know the superintendents, they go out on the roads, they're out there early in the morning. I'm an real early in the morning guy, so I know. And so I'm saying I know all the districts that I know of, they want to put the safety of the student first, and that's their first priority. And if it's not, there's something wrong if it's not.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we as a group of superintendents, we work very well together in Crawford County. And we're out early in the morning, we're communicating with one another. And it's a little different for Gallion and Bucyrus because we're more city, urban, suburban type setting, where if your road crews are out and taking care of things, there's not a lot of street maintenance. There's not a lot of road maintenance to take care of. Where if you're out in the country like Colonel Crawford or Winthrop and you have 100 and some square miles, and some township roads that may not be top priority, but you still have to run buses down. It gets a little hairy out there. So we're up early in the morning, communicating with one another, and trying to figure out what's going to be best for the kids for each particular district.
Well, speaking about the best and organizations, whatever, I know January you guys have your organizational meeting, correct?
Yes, we did. We had that on January 11th, same day as the first semester ended. We have the same Board of Education moving into this calendar year as we did last year. It'll be the same for the next 2 years. Randy Blankenship, Krista Graves, and Chad Redmond were all elected to the board. We had one vacant seat. We had 2 people who applied for the seat, which has to happen by law. We had a petition that was booted out for the general election. So Morgan Jones, wrote a letter to the treasurer and the Board of Education. She was interested. Christina Cazell, she did the same thing. And the Board of Education determined to go with Morgan Jones for a 2-year stint. Now, because it's an unexpired term, so to speak, and it was an elected term, she will have to run again if she so desires in November of 2025 to have that seat for 26 and 27.
Yeah. Well, that's not that far away.
No, it's not.
Really, I mean, you're here and then now. So so I can see where that would work out, or how the system works. One follow-up I wanted to have from the last time. I know we were talking about chronic absenteeism, and you guys actually hired, was it Jessica?
Yes, that's
Jessica
correct.
Cooper?
Yes.
Back on December 13th for that rolls.
Yes.
How's this moving along?
So far so good. I mean, we're only, a month and a half, 2 months into it. So it's difficult to see what kind of
Well, sure.
positive impact it's going to have on our students. I know right now she's doing a great job of communicating with parents, communicating with the students, working on different behaviors for the students, trying to help the parents, somehow motivate those children to get to school, try to find rides for them if they don't have rides, let them know where the bus stops are, things like that. Because sometimes it's just the kid doesn't want to get up and come to school, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that becomes a little bit of a struggle. But she's putting into place some things that we're looking at for next year that hopefully will make a positive impact on all of our kids K through 12, and helping them and their parents understand that, hey, being at school and being on time and being in attendance is very, very important, especially in the lower, K through 2 grades.
Well, you're setting the example early.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you get in that pattern early in life, it's unfortunately, if it's a good pattern, that's fine. But if it's not a very good pattern, that's going to unfortunately go down the line as well. You don't want that.
Right. In places I have been employed before, sometimes I'd have parents say, well, it's just kindergarten. What's going on in kindergarten or just first grade. And what they don't understand is anywhere from preschool through 3rd grade are the formative years of English, language arts, mathematics. I mean, that's where the base is all built. And if we have students who are being chronically absent in those grades, they're behind. If they're not at grade level in reading by 3rd grade, it's going to take a year or two for them to catch up. If they're not there by 5th or 6th grade, they're never going to catch up. And it's very important that our parents understand that no matter what happens, those grades K through 3 are ultra important in the development educationally of our students.
Absolutely. Again, they're the foundations of anything. And
Absolutely.
anytime you miss, like even if you're in, let's say, I hate to use the word upper grades, just like take something like mathematics, concept builds upon the concept. You mix 2 or 3 days in some of these classes, you're going to be lost, and you don't know how to even. You're going to have to go back.
Absolutely.
That's just not something you can skip over because it builds like building blocks.
Absolutely. You're exactly right.
Well, I guess we've solved all the world's problems today, Bob.
We tried anyway.
Well, I appreciate always having you come in from the Bucyrus City Schools. Bob Britton's been the guest. And,
I appreciate you guys having me in here. It's great to talk to you and great to get the word out about how good Bucyrus is.
Well, I agree, and as I always end these when I'm with you, I always say go Redmond, since I'm a grad and I'm a proud grad of Bucyrus, and I always wish you the best going on up here in Bucyrus.
Thank you very much, Dave. You have a great day, all right? Stay warm.
We will. Thank you.